show and tells, or I was supposed to be there but didn't make it, I just say, hey, I feel really guilty, and be open about it. Don't know how much it helped them, but it helped me. It's a fact of life.
For me, I think I haven't felt a ton of guilt, and maybe that's coming in the future, and I'm just not quite there yet. My son is only 2.5. But for me, the word that I think describes more what I feel is embarrassment. That, you know, I feel like my whole life I've lived sort of under the premise that if you're not going to be great at something, then what's the point of doing it at all? And it's pretty much impossible to be great at both your career and be great at like being a really engaged, active mom at the same time. And so I think for me it's been just a little bit embarrassing that I'm not being totally great at either one of these. And I think that the way I've come to reconcile it in my mind, at least for now, is actually something my husband said to me is, look, Samantha, you don't have to be great at a single thing. Instead, you have to be, like, if you're going to be great at juggling both, and like be great at being the mom who does a little bit of both. And for me, like, thinking about it in that way has made a huge difference to sort of my self-perception.
Yeah, that's exactly true. I'm a big believer that it's really impossible to have it all. You can have it all, but not all at the same time. Sometimes you have to slow down for your career, and sometimes you have to take care of your child, but it's very difficult to have it all. So yes, and that's why if you try really hard to have it all, that's when your guilt feelings kind of pile up.
I'd like to talk a little bit about this notion of great mom. Would that be all right?
Of course. Yeah.
I think that's another one of those stories, right? And I'm Iranian originally, and I grew up with a working mom. She was a professor in our university. She is still alive. She is, but retired now. And I never saw any contradiction between being a good mom and a mom who was working. Just didn't have that. It wasn't until I had my kids here, and my kids, I wasn't every day taking them to school. Many times my husband was doing that, or I wasn't picking them up, our babysitter was picking them up, that I started getting this feedback about, and nobody said it to my face. That would have been easy. It was just this thing that was in the atmosphere about me not being a good enough mom to be there. And there were some cases where the kids couldn't have play dates because the mom wanted to have a play date with another mom, not a babysitter, right? There were situations like that. And little comments about, oh, you know, you missed a really great thing. And those types of things are really harmful. Women do it to each other. And this notion of a great mother, I take issue with that. What is a great mother? Let there be a definition that's yours and not imposed on you. Because if you can be very frank with yourself, if you're not doing something because you're fearful of it, or because you don't know if you can juggle it, or because your spouse is not supportive, don't say I'm not doing it because I want to be a good mom. Really, you know, nobody can. I'm trying to be frank and helpful. Just be very honest with why you're not doing something, and don't let people tell you you're not a great mom. You are a great mom by your own definition. Make that your definition, not somebody else's.
I think the same whole notion of a great mom though means that there is a point.
Yes,
you know? And there is no point. There's no guidebook. Like it's not like you go into labor and go like, read this. No, there's no guidebook. There's no benchmark. It's just constant work in process that never ends. So I think that it's like, well, what's the rubric that makes you from good to great? Is it that you put your kid to sleep every day at 7, or you know? I think that what really makes you great as a mom is how your kids then tell you. Like, my son thinks I'm a great mom because I know computer programming. I was like, oh, is that really all it took? Like, okay, fine. But otherwise, you know, my mother-in-law thinks I'm a horrible mom because I don't cook and clean. So there's like different things, you know, where you kind of have to look at it and say, like, well, what, at the end of the day, what would give me peace as a mom? Like, and it was just having a happy, productive son. You know, a son that's just happy, you know. And I think that's what you have to do, is let go of that notion, like, there's an actual ideal of a perfect mom.
Yeah, that's so true. I think on social media, you know, you see, you know, women who are hosting Etsy-worthy birthday parties for their kids that they spent like 2 weeks full time putting together, and I think being really confident to know what you think a great mom means, like, it's super important. Maybe it's that, but yeah, for me it's not.
It's my definition of a great mom is a happy mom. So as long as you're happy with yourself and your lifestyle and what you're doing, that will reflect on your child. So whatever it is that makes you happy, you're going to do that. And that happiness makes you a good mom for your child. I do have a lot of questions for all of you, but but we also have a time limit, so I want to make sure that I leave some time for Q&A for people who have questions. I maybe ask you one more question. Looking back at your career as a working mom, is there anything that you would have changed, and what would you have done differently?
I can go. I think what I would have changed is that I wouldn't let my priorities to be set by someone else. I decided not to have a second child because I thought that's not gonna be good enough for me to advance in my career, and I was told that will happen, that you need to be by some senior executives, that if you want to advance, you gotta be in the office more, and you gotta come to these. And I think I would have not had that. I think I would have decided that I first decide what's right for me, and then plan my career around that, versus finding out what the standard is and me trying to reach that standard. And had I done that, I think maybe I would have had more children, I don't know. But at least I wouldn't have had my second one so far apart from the first one. And I would have been a lot happier, a lot faster, versus, I mentor a lot of, I taught at the university for 6 years, and as women came into my classrooms, I often talk about how important it is to know what you're passionate about and what makes you happy, and to stick with it and not let other people dictate that to you. And that's the one thing I would change if I could go back.
I think there's learning experiences and everything, so I don't know how much I would change anything, because obviously it got me where I am today, and it taught me a lot. I think the one thing that I would reflectively look back on is I probably would value help or self-care a lot more earlier in my career, because I think it would have solved a lot of problems that I was either too stressed or too wound up to try to deal with. And I think that as moms, we tend to put everybody else first and not want to be, quote unquote, a selfish mom. And so I think just taking that aspect of it and like having the things that are just for you for no apparent reason, then they're for me and I like it. And it makes me feel good and makes me happy. I think I would have instituted that into my life a lot earlier, and just realized that gave a lot less opinion on less weight on other people's opinion a lot sooner. I think that would have helped, because I think being a mom gives a lot of people where you would get a lot of input